Welcome back to StackTrekker. In our last video, we explored how to test your API like a pro using Postman. If you missed it, no worries. Just click the link in the top right corner to catch up. Today, we're diving into something super exciting, Postman Flows. It's your visual playground. Build, connect, and control your API requests in a whole new way. So buckle up because we're about to turn your API testing game from basic to brilliant. Let's dive in. For this tutorial, I'll be using a free API server. You can see the link on your screen right now, and I'll also include it in the description of this video so you can follow along easily. First, we need to create a collection. This makes it easy to organize and manage all your requests in one place. We'll give the collection a name and set the base URL of the API. Now let's create our first request. We'll start by fetching a list of smartphones. If you're curious about what else this free API can do, feel free to check out the documentation. It's packed with useful info. We enter the endpoint, click send, and there it is. The response appears. You'll see a list of products, each with various fields like title, description, and price. All right, now let's move on to Postman Flows. But first, what exactly are flows? Postman Flows is a visual tool inside Postman that lets you build and automate workflows by connecting blocks together. Instead of writing scripts or code, you can simply drag and drop components like requests, delays, conditions, and logic to create powerful API flows. It's perfect for testing scenarios, chaining requests, or even building lightweight automations, all in a clean visual interface. Now let's see it in action. On the left-hand side of the Postman interface, you'll find a tab labeled Flows. Click on it, then hit Create New to start building your first flow. Give your flow a name, something simple and descriptive so you can recognize it later. Next, let's add a send request block. To do this, go to the collection we created earlier and drag in the request that fetches the list of smartphones. Now click Run, and there we go. You'll see the response, which is the same JSON list of products we saw earlier. Let's make it a bit more visual by adding a display block. You can do this by clicking the plus icon in the toolbar or by right-clicking anywhere on the canvas. A dialog will appear. Just search for display and select it. This helps us see the response more clearly. Now we need to connect the blocks to define the flow of data. In Postman Flows, the blocks work like building bricks. The end of one block is typically connected to the start of the next. This connection defines the sequence in which actions are executed and how data flows between them. In our case, we're connecting the output of the send request block, which fetches the smartphones, to the input of the display block. This means the successful result, the list of smartphones returned from the API, will automatically be passed into the display block. Once connected, run the flow again. You'll see the data appear in the display block. By default, the display block shows both the response body and headers. But for now, let's switch the view to JSON only so we can focus on the actual data structure returned by the API. And just like that, you've built your first simple flow in Postman. Since we're aiming for a more visual and dynamic way to represent our data, we can remove the display block for now. It's no longer necessary. At the top of each block, there's a small toolbar that gives you access to various options. You can change the block's color to keep things organized, copy it if you want to reuse it, or delete it when it's no longer needed. In this case, we'll go ahead and delete the display block. Just click the delete icon in the toolbar and it will be removed from the flow. Now let's explore data transformation in Postman Flows. To do that, we'll use the evaluate block. We start by connecting the result of our Get Smartphones API request, just like we did earlier, to the beginning of the evaluate block. This means the response from our API will be passed directly into the evaluate block for further processing. The output of the evaluate block is stored in a variable. By default, this variable is named value1, but it's always a good idea to give it a more meaningful name. Since our API returns a list of products, let's rename the variable to products. Now that the variable is defined, we need to specify what part of the response we want to store in it. In our case, we're interested in the body of the response, and more specifically in the products array. So we configure the block to extract products from the body. With that set up, we can now write a small script using FQL, the flow query language. FQL is a powerful scripting language built into Postman Flows. It's designed for transforming and manipulating data directly within your flow. It feels familiar, similar to other scripting languages like JavaScript, so if you've done any basic scripting before, you'll feel right at home. You can find full documentation for FQL and its available functions in the official Postman docs. Start typing products, our variable name, and you'll immediately see the result appear in real time. This is the list of products returned from the API, but we don't need all the data. We're only interested in the title and price of each smartphone. Each product contains many fields, but we want to transform each product into a simplified object that includes just 2 fields. To do this, we map over the list and create new JSON objects on the fly. For each item, we define the field name and assign it the appropriate value from the original object. You'll instantly see the result, a clean list of objects, each containing only title and price. Next, let's display the transformed data. Right-click anywhere on the canvas and type Display to add a new display block. Then connect the output of the Evaluate block to the input of the new display block. Click Run to execute the flow and populate the data. The display block will automatically detect the input and show the JSON response. That's nice, but let's make it more visual. Open the display block settings and switch the visualization to a bar chart. And just like that, in just a few clicks, you've created a dynamic bar chart powered by real data from your API. Now let's take it a step further and create another display block to show our data in a different format, this time as a table. Just like before, we'll create a new display block by right-clicking on the canvas and selecting Display. Next, connect the output of the Evaluate block to the input of this new display block. This way, it will receive the same transformed data, the list of products with only the title and price. Now, open the display block settings and change the visualization type from JSON to table. Finally, click Run to execute the flow. And there you have it, the same data we previously showed as a bar chart now displayed as a clean, easy-to-read table. This demonstrates how Postman Flows allows you to present your data in multiple ways, depending on your needs, whether it's for analysis, testing, or just making things more visual and user-friendly. Now let's create something a little more special. Until now, we've been displaying the complete list of products. This time, we're going to show just one key value, the minimum price among all the products. We'll still use the same data from the API response, just like before. The only difference is how we prepare and transform that data. To do this, we'll add another Evaluate block, just like we did earlier. You already know how to configure the variable name and assign it the correct value, so this part should be easy. Again, we'll extract the product list from body and assign it to a variable, let's say products. Now comes the interesting part. We'll use the min function provided by FQL, flow query language. This function searches through a list and returns the minimum value of a specific field. Since we want to find the lowest price, we'll apply the field price. This tells the function to look through the list of products and return the one with the smallest price value. To display the result, we'll create another display block. This time, we don't need a chart or a table. We're only showing a single number, so the default visualization is perfect. Connect the output of the Evaluate block to the input of the new display block, and then run the flow to check the result. And there it is, the lowest price found in our list of smartphones, extracted and displayed in just a few steps. In this tutorial, we explored the basics of Postman Flows and created a simple workflow to work with real API data. We connected blocks to send API requests and display the responses. Using the Evaluate block and FQL, we transformed the data to focus on specific fields like title and price. The results were visualized in different formats, including a table, a bar chart, and a single value showing the minimum price of the products. With just a few blocks and clicks, we turned raw API responses into clear interactive visualizations using Postman Flows. So I hope this was interesting. Thank you for watching my tutorials. If you enjoyed this, please like the video and subscribe. See you later. Bye.